Hey guys, good morning. Okay, honestly, it's like Sunday morning at the Food and Wine Classic in Aspen. You gotta give me some life. I need like a little bit more, yeah. Thank you. Oh, you guys love me so much. Okay, so my name is Jordana Rothman. I'm the restaurant editor at Food and Wine Magazine, and it gives me great pleasure to welcome you here to the 36th Annual Food and Wine Classic in Aspen. Good morning. I hope all of you had so much fun. Sunday morning is always kind of like a lot. You're tired. You've had a good time, so I'm glad to see so many smiling faces. So, one of the things that I do at Food and Wine is I take care of our best new chefs. Spend a lot of time on the road looking for them, and in a lot of ways, that's really like one of the heart centers of Food and Wine. Oh my God. Okay, can you guys cheer again so I can feel, yeah. Okay, so, being that, Best New Chef is such an important part of Food and Wine, I think all of our team here takes a lot of pleasure and a lot of pride in following the careers of those Best New Chefs as they rise and take over the world. And so it's especially exciting that I get to be here introducing Stephanie Izard, who was a Best New Chef in 2011, and her career has been unstoppable since then. She won a James Beard Award for Girl on the Goat. She expanded in Chicago with The Little Goat and with Duck Duck Goat. She was the first female winner of a season of Top Chef. That's right. I hear my girls in the audience. And she's, of course, Iron Chef Gauntlet. She's a total star. You guys know who she is. It's a huge honor to be here introducing her. And so, without further ado, Chef Stephanie Izard.
What's going on here? I'm not Stephanie Izard, am I? I know it's Sunday morning and I'm oxygen deprived, but let me check the mise en place. Hold on. Oh my God, goat, everything. This is not me. I have to go, guys. I'm in the wrong room. I'm sorry. Oh, here she is, Stephanie Izard, everybody. There she is. Go do it, Stephanie. I couldn't make that food if I tried.
I got mislabeled this morning, so I was confused. How's everybody doing? Good? For those of you I saw you in the hallway, we're going to be the loudest room out of the two rooms, right? So let's do that one more time. Woo! Nice. Well, congratulations for making it this far through the Food and Wine weekend. Who's first time here in Aspen? Holy moly. I was going to say a different word than that, but wow, that's awesome. I will say, for once I feel like I can say welcome to Aspen, so I think this is I'm out of breath still, even though I've been here like 9 or 10 times. I just ran down one aisle and up the other. That's the most exercise I've gotten since I got here. So on that note, I think when I start, the first thing I'm going to have to make is a cocktail, because how are you guys feeling? Do you feel like the first thing you need this morning is a little recovery? Yeah? So I wanted to do a lot of easy, entertaining dishes for you guys today. I just had my new book come out, Gather and Graze. And when you think about Aspen, I think that's kind of what we're here to do, is kind of, God, I really am out of breath. It's pathetic. Gather with our friends, make new friends, gather, graze. I think it's more like gather, drink wine, graze, drink wine, drink wine, drink wine. But really just coming together, and that's what food and drinking wine and all of those things is all about, is getting together with your friends and enjoying. So that's what my whole new book is about. But one thing that was kind of missing from my demo originally was a cocktail, which I think that a cocktail is kind of a key element to home entertaining. I think what you want to do as soon as your guests come over is you hand them a cocktail, so they kind of leave you to your thing while you're trying to finish things up a little bit. So as one of the chefs here, I kept waking up every morning and finding different sort of gifts that were in my room from the amazing sponsors here. So I brought some of those from my room this morning. I thought I'd just make a cocktail out of them. So we have this American rye whiskey. I thought I could bring it on the plane or something, but I thought I'd just make a snack or a drink right here. Last night, I can't even open it. It's like a trick bottle. Wow, is this, my altitude has taken away my muscle strength? There we go. When we were cooking on top of the mountain last night, it was me and Rocco and Rick Bayless and Hugh Atkinson and Tracy Desjardins from California, and we had an amazing time. But one thing, we were all up on the top of the mountain, you get a little even more dehydrated, and we were making a bunch of different pickles, and there's actually a whole section in the book celebrating quick pickles, which is just one of my favorite things to do in the restaurant. If you walk into our restaurants at any given time, you'll see these big 22 quarts of cut vegetables that are just sitting in pickling liquid. And what's fun about quick pickles, I was going to do it for you, but it's not really the most exciting thing to watch. You just pour liquid over vegetables. I feel like you guys can like pick up what I'm putting down without actually demoing that part. But all right, ready? 1, 2, 3. Woo! Yes. Okay. Thank you. I told Rocco we were like in competition this morning. He's like, no, we're doing this together, Stephanie. I'm like, okay, togetherness, yes. And winning. So you just take a vegetable, you bring up various vinegars depending upon what vegetable it is. Sometimes distilled vinegar, sometimes red wine vinegar. For red onions, it's really nice. A sugar and salt mixture, and you can just pour it over and make a very, very simple version of a quick pickle, which is what we like to do. But the fun thing about it is that the liquid that's left in there, you don't really want to pickle with it again. 1, 2, 3. Woo! I know it's going to get old after a while, but it's okay. We'll be good. We're doing so good so far. Is that the liquid, you don't want to necessarily pickle with it again because it's already kind of done its job. But what happens is you get this beautiful liquid. This is from actually 2 different pickling liquids, one from pickled Fresno, so it's got a little heat to it, and one from pickled rhubarb. And I just kind of mixed them together last night. And last night on the mountain, we took a pickling liquid from pickled green strawberries. And we were just drinking that with soda water to kind of rehydrate it, and it was delicious. So I thought it'd be fun to make a quick cocktail out of this. So whenever you do a quick pickle or something at home, save that liquid. You can either use it for a drink, you can do non-alcoholic or alcoholic. 1, 2, 3. Woo! Woo! See, you were cheering for this, weren't you? I see. You can use it for alcoholic or non-alcoholic beverages. You can also just make really simple vinaigrettes out of it. So it's one of those things, I think, not wasting food is such a big part of things that are being talked about these days because we don't want to be throwing things away. So being able to use this for something else, especially when it's going to taste delicious cocktail-y. Do we think I put enough rye in there? I think so, okay. No? Did I hear a no? Okay. Whoever just yelled no gets to have one of these. Who was that? Here, come on up. Let's see. Oh, this looks delicious. I'm kind of excited. I've been actually a little tamer this time than in Aspen's past that I've lost memory of. Here, come on up. What's your name?
Donna.
Hi, Donna. Here you go.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you? Who wants what? Who's the first person? Oop, right there. Gentleman in the front right there.
Cheers.
Here you go. Let's cheersies. What's your name?
Gary.
Gary, where are you from?
Houston.
Houston. Gary from Houston. My husband's Gary. Good name.
I told you have to come
Cheers.
to Houston.
Oh, yes. Nice to I'm cheersing you.
we're cheesing.
I'm not giving you this one. Cheers. Awesome. Thanks, guys. Ooh. Oh, and that was this cool ginger beer. This was in my room, too, from another sponsor. It's delicious. Oh, that's good. I think it could have been a little bit heavier on the rye and a little less pickling liquid, but you know what? The pickling liquid is good for you, so I'll give some to Rocco for his healthy thing that's happening next door. He came over and looked at my stage and was like, what is all this stuff? I was like, yeah, I like to cram a lot in. So now that we have a cocktail ready, we're going to go ahead and make a bunch of different entertaining dishes. I asked if it was okay if I went a little over because there's a lot of things up here, but I'll jibber jabber through. If you guys do have anything you want to ask while I'm cooking, feel free to ask. We're going to start off by making a fun brunch thing. I think a lot of times when you think of entertaining, you think of dinner right away, but why not have friends over on a Sunday afternoon and just sort of do some fun entertaining then? So we're going to make this, still out of breath, which is really sad. We're going to make this tasty egg kimchi bacon thing. That's what it's called in the cookbook. We actually used to have this on the menu at Little Goat, and it was I can't even remember, it was a total run-on sentence of 2 sentences just describing what it was. It's actually based on a dish from Thailand called hoi tad. It's from northern Thailand. It's sort of a street food where they make this giant crepe, and they put a bunch of mussels into it, and they kind of cook it in some oil, make it all crispy and yummy and whatnot. And I wish I could say that I'd eaten it when I was there. But I did travel through there, but I hadn't had it. I just saw it in a video afterwards. And this sounds kind of sad, but I do a lot of learning about food in other places just by watching videos. Because there is so much content out there now of other people that are traveling, and I know that I love traveling. If I had all the time in the world, I would go to so many more places. But sometimes you have to travel through reading cookbooks from other cultures, or from watching videos from other cultures. I often joke that when I opened DuckDuckGoat, which, has anybody been to eat in Chicago at any of the goat restaurants? Nice. Are you guys all Chicagoans with your hands up? Nice. Yes. And we're all going to stay here, right? 'Cause aside from the rain, it's still pretty awesome in Aspen. So when I opened DuckDuckGoat, I had to watch a lot of videos. So I'm like, I think I opened a Chinese restaurant by watching YouTube, basically. So you too can open a Chinese restaurant if you just watch soup dumpling videos in slow motion, because they make them really, really fast. So this is something I saw a video of, and then I started researching it, and I was like, this could be really fun for our diner. We have Little Goat Diner, which is still foods from around the world, but it's more, we try to Americanize them a little bit to make them kind of brunch items. So this was something I thought, instead of putting mussels in it, which doesn't seem like the best breakfast thing all the time, I thought we'd put some bacon, because I was like, well, people will try it if I put bacon in it. And then I thought we'd put some kimchi, sort of bringing in some different flavors from different parts of the world. So we're gonna start off, we've got some all-purpose flour. All of these look alike, but I think it's the things I'm saying they are. We've got some rice flour. I mean, does it really matter? It probably doesn't really matter. We got cornstarch. Boop, boop, boop. It's about equal parts of each of those. And then there's baking powder, and there's quite a bit of baking powder. I think when I first started researching recipes for this, what I do is I'll find a bunch of recipes online, and I test it and try to understand what it is that makes each recipe different and why one is better than the other, and then kind of morph them. You know, I'm like, well, this one was crunchier, and I think it's because there's more cornstarch. This one's fluffier because I think there's more baking powder, and try to figure out the best way to get the best of all worlds. So that's kind of how this came together. But I remember thinking, is that baking powder just going to taste kind of gross? Because, you know, when I used to have the Nestle Toll House cookie recipe memorized. I think I probably still do. 2 cups of all-purpose flour, 2 1/4 cups of flour, 3 1/4 cups brown sugar, 3 cups white sugar. I don't know, but I used to just make the dough without the chocolate chips and just eat it as a snack. I can't believe my mom let me do that. My sister and I would just be watching TV eating a bowl of cookie dough. It was probably while she was out, but if you put too much baking powder in cookies, you can sometimes taste that sort of metallic taste, but it doesn't actually happen in this somehow. It's some magic thing happening, maybe because I'm gonna add fish sauce, which is the magic touch to everything in life. So we're gonna crack in some eggs. 1, 2, I don't trust myself this morning to do my fancy 2 eggs at a time thing, so we'll just do 1. We'll just be kind of boring. Ooh, I do need some water. Let's see, I don't remember how much. Hey, pay no attention for 1 second. 3 cups of cold water. Does that look like about 3 cups? I think so. 1, 2, 3. That is how I usually cook, so we'll see how that worked out. I think I've gotten pretty good at self-measuring tablespoons and teaspoons, not cups so much, but we'll be able to tell with consistency. So we're just adding in the water, and then like I said, we're gonna add in some fish sauce. For anybody that's eaten at any of my restaurants, you may notice my love of fish sauce. We get a pallet delivered to the 3 restaurants every month because we go through so much of it. I had a chef friend say to me once, he's like, I don't use fish sauce because it's cheating. And I was like, it's cheating by adding so much delicious flavor to your dishes? I'm gonna have to beg to differ on that. And the altitude is definitely affecting this because it's growing while I look at it, and that's never happened before. I feel like maybe Richard Blaze came in and put something in my powder. Oh boy, yeah, that doesn't usually, it's like alive. Whoa. So cool. Well, thank you for participating in my strange science experiment. We'll see what happens with this. I always kind of just hope that at least 50% of the things I make up here work, so, you know, we could still be doing good. The drink was good. Halfway there. All right, so I'm gonna get a pan going. We'll see if it's bubbling. It is. Maybe there needs to be a note in there. If you live in Aspen, cut back the baking powder a little bit. We're gonna have to do some research. Where's Alton Brown when you need him? I was just asking that last night. We were on the top of the mountain, and Rocco was gonna put some, yeah. Oh, yay, hi. How was the hot tub? It was amazing? Okay, nice. Oh, thanks. Thanks for the info after the fact. Thanks. Thanks, Chef. That was Chef Elizabeth Faulkner. Yes, I think that I will need to just text her with all of my baking and pastry and all these other questions. Thank you. I appreciate it. Yeah, well, I guess a little too late. We'll see what happens now. I thought since we weren't baking it, I definitely, when I think about demos for here, I'm like, I can't do any of my things that involve actual baking or involve things, but I guess this kind of fit into that category. Whoops. So we're gonna let our pan get really nice and hot, and you do want to use a nonstick for this. I feel like there's some whole debate out there of if you oh, chefs shouldn't use nonsticks or whatnot, but for this it just works much better. Otherwise, it will truly stick to the pan. But you want to make sure that it gets nice and hot. And meanwhile, I'm going to make sort of a version of a nak chum, which is a Vietnamese dipping sauce. If you've ever gone out for Vietnamese food and you have the fresh spring rolls, which are so delicious and nice and refreshing, those are really cool too. I should demo those sometime. They're just super simple and a great like summertime thing. There's a little dipping sauce that comes on the side called nak chum, and we like to take that and kind of change it around a little bit for dishes at the restaurants. We actually take blueberry jam and put it into this recipe and make a sauce out of it for a halibut dish. That's become one of our staff favorites. It's good. So this recipe you guys will have, literally just take blueberry or other jam and you mix it in and kind of cook some fish and put it over the top, and it's delicious. So we've got malt vinegar. We're putting a little bit of lemon juice. We've got our friend, the fish sauce. See, I have a giant bottle of it right here in case I run out or in case I need to do shots. Fish sauce. We're gonna do some brown sugar, boop, 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 and a little bit of garlic. It looks like our pan is just starting to get hot. I've actually done, I love doing blind taste tests. I think that doing the blind fish sauce taste test to see which is the favorite is probably one of my least pleasurable moments. As much as I love it, when you actually, as soon as you open it, it just doesn't smell that pleasant. But when you cook with it, it just does something amazing. When we were getting ready to open Duck Duck Goat, we did a bunch of blind taste tests of soy sauces, which is one of those things I think we all take for granted. There's a lot of ingredients where you're just like, oh yeah, it's just soy sauce. But they all taste so different, especially different brands of, we were just doing all Chinese soy sauces. But then you can go with, oh, here we go. I wonder what just happened over there. So just whisk this up. But we tasted a bunch of Chinese soy sauces next to each other, and we ended up going with this. It's called Pearl River Bridge. It's delicious. But it's kind of a fun thing to do. And fish sauces, they all do taste very different. This is what we use in the restaurants now is Redboat. But when we switched to this from a different brand, we used to use one that was much sweeter. So we had to start adding sugar into a bunch of our recipes. And like, there's just, there is always so much variance in different brands. And if you are going to start using fish sauce at home a lot, just make sure that you are using a good, there's some like sort of American brands of fish sauce that have come out, like in the normal grocery store that are, they're just not really made right. If there's a bunch of ingredients listed other than just like fish, then you probably don't want to use it. And what's great about this, it's shellfish free and it's gluten free and everything like that. All right, so we've got our batter. I'm gonna go ahead and put some grapeseed oil. We do this in the restaurant sometimes with clarified butter, but grapeseed oil or canola oil or something works just fine. And you want kind of a decent amount in there because it's gonna crisp this up. So we've got that. Did you see that ladle that I had? Oh, here we go. Our batter seems to have tamed itself just a little bit, so I'm feeling better. There we go. So you just want to see it sizzle when it hits in the pan. It's almost like a little funnel cake action. I feel as though I might have gotten a little excited with the oil, but we're going to see what happens. So then we're going to take some of our bacon. Actually, I have this awesome bacon that one of my chef friends, Dusky Estes, sent from Black Pig Meat Company. If you guys ever look this up online and get some sent to you, it's absolutely delicious. I'm going to crack some in here. She's a chef that also has a working farm in California. And I don't know if any of you guys saw, we just announced that we're opening a restaurant in LA next year, which I'm excited and deathly afraid at the exact same time. But I'm trying to find a goat farmer. So if anybody is friends with a goat farmer near Los Angeles, please come up afterwards and let me know. But I was emailing with her. I'm like, do you think that you can start raising goats? Because that would be pretty sweet. It's just a hard thing to find. We get all of our goats from a local farm in Chicago, and they're just so much better than other goats that you can find. But anyway, so all right, we have our thing going. This is super nice and poofy. I feel like maybe in altitude this is going to come out fantastic. Or not, we'll see. Then we're going to put some kimchi. So also in the book, there's a recipe for our kimchi from the restaurants, but you can just use, any of you guys keep kimchi in your fridge regularly? A very small handful, but the rest of you really should get on this. You can make it yourself. It is like a little bit of a, well, hey now, that kimchi's a little wet. And I'm gonna wanna flip this, but I feel like this is larger than normal and this might not go well. Should I just try it? You guys just wanna see me get this all over the floor. All right, 1, 2, 3. I like to do this in the beginning of the demo and get it over with so I can stop being nervous about it. So I feel much better. Let's have a drink. Yeah, this is the poofiest I've ever seen this, and I'm so quite excited. But it will poof up normally no matter where you guys live. For those of us in Chicago at like 10 feet elevation. It still will poof up a little bit, but definitely not like this. But you want to see can you guys see all this? Okay. See all those like crusty edges? That's really what you're going for. It's super nice and crunchy. And we put the egg right in the middle and all of the stuff around, so when you flip it, and you guys can you can do it this way, and it's kind of fun. And I've had folks that don't cook try that, and it's like, you'll be like, yeah, I did it. But you can also do it with a spatula, and it's totally fine. But the egg kind of lands in the middle, so the egg can cook through a little bit. We're going to just cut this a bit. It is a little puffier, so it's taking a second longer to cook, but ooh, there we go. So the egg's just kind of cooking. I've got a little bit of raw batter over there. I'm just going to move. And it's not meant to be, I think what I've noticed over time is my food is definitely, it's pretty in a different way than other people's food. It's not about having, last time we were plating the dinner, everybody's courses were these beautiful, intricate platings, and I was like, so here's what we're going to do. We're going to put some sauce, we're going to put 3 chunks of beef, and some pickle situation over the top. That's it. I was like, all these people, there's like 20 people gathered around to plate, and I was like, I need 6. I only need 6 of you. It will be fine. But it's beautiful in the sense it's just celebrating great flavors, which is what I really try to focus on. So don't worry about this being like pretty, but it's just going to look kind of like badass, really, which is so much more fun. Okay. Does it smell good? Can you guys smell it? Yeah, it smells great. It's not me. Okay. Here we go. So we're going to put these on the plate, just kind of haphazardly. We got a little side of our nakcham. Thank you, Jen. Jen, one of my sous chefs here from Chicago. All right. Yeah, woo! It's Jen's first trip to Aspen also, and she's having a lot of fun. Although she's scared of heights, and the gondola ride was terrifying. But she did really good. She did so good. Last night on the way back down, it was pitch black, and it was like we were floating through a dark black cloud. But we made it. So we're going to put some mung bean sprouts on top just to make it nice and refreshing. And I wish I could say that I had like little herb gardens growing in my house. I super don't. I kill all my plants. My husband's in here, and he could totally attest to that. I'm wondering what's happening to them right now while we're not there. Hopefully they're watering themselves nicely. But it's nice to just have a bunch of fresh herbs around, especially, like little basil plants and things like that. We used to have a little garden outside, and the basil and mint will just go out of control, and it's pretty easy to take care of. Even I could do it. But yeah, just some fresh herbs on top. And then you have your kimchi and bacon tasty eggy thing. Cool. We've got 1 down. We got like 4 to go. Okay. I'll put that over there for entertaining. Cool. So now we're going to jump over to another brunch item. I'm totally bringing this with me because I'm really quite enjoying it. Sorry. We're going to make, so salmon season is just getting started. I'm actually using some Arctic char, it's just what we got today, just because it is sometimes, especially in the middle of Aspen, it's kind of hard to get all the different fishes. But wild salmon season is just beginning, so I thought it'd be fun to do a salmon thing. When I was growing up, salmon was kind of one of the first fishes I was introduced to, and it's when I decided I didn't really like fish. My mom loved fish, and all of her brothers love fish, and they send each other these giant smoked salmon every year for Christmas, and that I always enjoyed. But when my mom would cook fresh salmon, she always bought things from the grocery store that was sort of not well-raised farmed salmon, which there's a lot of that sort of out there. So salmon's the type of fish that you should be kind of picky about when you're getting it. I think this time of year, if you start going to restaurants, you'll see like Copper River salmon is coming into season soon. You'll see different wild salmons listed, and it'll say where they're all from. And that's what you really want to try. Like, this is the time to do it for the next couple months. One thing that we do serve in the restaurants, and I'm proud to serve it because I've actually been there and it's really awesome, is a Schooner Bay salmon. It's a farm-raised salmon that's just, yeah, somebody likes it. It's a farm-raised salmon that's actually raised properly. And they've just been recognized by the Monterey Bay Aquarium as being sustainable and all that stuff. And it's super tasty. It just kind of melts in your mouth. We actually put it on sorry, I'm still out of breath. Maybe it's just all my jibber jabber. We put it on the menu a few weeks ago at the restaurants because I was just so excited for salmon season, but it just wasn't coming fast enough. I think in Chicago, I was very off this year because it was like, I feel like it was winter up until like last week, but then it was like really summer for a week, and spring kind of just never came. It just didn't happen. So I've just not known when season it is. So I kept texting my fish guy. I'm like, is wild salmon season yet? Is wild salmon season yet? He's like, Stephanie, seriously, you need a fish calendar or something because you text me like every week. And I told you the answer. Leave me alone. So we decided to we have like a raw salmon dish on the menu right now with this crunchy chili oil situation. If you guys live in Chicago, come try it. I love it. But it's the schooner salmon just kind of melts in your mouth, and it reminds me of the flavor that you can get from some of the wild salmon that develops all the fat and deliciousness. So we're going to start off, we're just going to toast off a little baguette. I'm just doing this part because I want to make sure that you guys understand how to make this delicious. Just like this, with some butter. You could do this with olive oil. I actually toasted some bread up here with olive oil for a later dish this morning. It looked really lovely, but to me, like bread toasted in butter, I could just eat that, and I would just be a happy person. I thought when Rocco came over and saw this bread, I was like, pay no attention to this carb situation sitting over here. But I tried to give up bread for like a month once, because my sous chef, Nikki, that's here, was doing the same, and I was like, she can do it, I can do it. And it was like one of the least happy months that I've experienced. When I tried cheese, that lasted about a day, because then I put Parmesan on everything at home. I take a whole quart home from work every week. But I will also take home a big pound of butter every week. My husband and I just had this whole like lengthy discussion of how we could find a butter dish that they make that actually fits a whole pound, because it's so much better to leave your butter out. Like, do you guys leave your butter out? It's so much better. It's like, yeah, and I haven't been doing this my whole life. We do it like in the restaurant. We pull it out in the morning at the restaurants. But it's like, why don't we just leave our butter out? I mean, one, our dog Bert would probably eat it, but we have to like hide it up top. But they don't sell butter dishes that fit the whole pound, and that's how we buy butter in restaurants. It's not these little sticks. What are these? What is that? What is this? It's like a whole pound. So we just decided we just take it and just put it in a quart container and just kind of put it on top of the stove where the dog can't get it. But we go through a lot of butter, and it's when there's no butter in the house, it's like a nervous breakdown. Everything in moderation-ish. So we're just going to toast that. We want it to get nice and crusty toasty and just kind of take low and slow. I always say this, and so sorry if you've heard me say it before in some other situation, but I think of things like this as like toasting marshmallows. Some people kind of cheat and they put it in the fire and it catches on fire and it's all black on the outside and it's still raw on the inside, sort of, or cold. And it's just kind of, that's fine if that's the way you like to do it. I know like half people like to do that. But I like taking my time and putting the marshmallow like in the sort of right by like a hot piece of wood or something and let it going low and slow and getting golden brown. And that's what you want to do with the toast. Don't do it too fast. Do it nice and low and slow and get it nice golden brown. Okay, you guys got real quiet. Let's hear a little loud. Okay, yay, salmon. So over here in the mixer, we have one of my other favorite ingredients, cream cheese. Yeah, my husband just got me some cream cheese for breakfast. I should have eaten it. I usually would just like to eat it by itself. I think that bagels are kind of just a vehicle to eat cream cheese. Because people look at you weird when you just start eating spoonfuls of cream cheese, believe me. But if you put salmon in it, I feel like you could eat it by the spoonful and people wouldn't think you were that weird. So this is just some smoked salmon. We, at the restaurants, will get in salmon from Schooner Bay. Oh, you guys got to tell me. Ooh, yeah, that looks good. I kind of forgot. My brain's only functioning at about 60%. Ooh, that looks good, though. Yeah, okay. We get in the Schooner salmon like throughout the whole year and we smoke it and we use it to make smoked salmon cream cheese. And now actually at Little Goat we cure some and we take all the scraps of our cured salmon when we're slicing it because it's hard to slice it all so perfectly. And we just cold smoke those, so it's like a smoked cured salmon, and we throw it in cream cheese and it's just delicious. I grew up on the East Coast and like salmon and cream cheese and really good bagels is kind of my favorite thing. Then you move to Chicago and you're like, where'd all the good bagels go? I love you, Chicago, but the bagels are not really your thing. And I don't know what this deep dish pizza situation is, but that's okay. It's so true, right? Well, it's just a different thing. It's not pizza, it's deep dish pizza. It's just a different thing. They should just call it like cheese thing. Cheese, deep, yeah, an inch of cheese. Would you like an inch of cheese? Which normally I would, I love cheese, but whew, there we go. We're just gonna mix that up. Whew. Then we have some smoked salmon cream cheese. How easy is that? I should have been cooking the fish while I was jibber-jabbering about that, but we'll just get to that. I feel like I can fill up some salmon cooking time or Arctic char cooking time. We're gonna go ahead and put in a little bit of grapeseed oil again and just cook off some fish. So we got salmon cream cheese, we got our toasty bread. We're gonna cook off a little fish to flake on top. I think one thing with entertaining is really thinking about what you can do ahead, because I find it very stressful to cook at home. I get very impressed when I go to a friend's house and they cook this whole situation for me. I actually should have I went over to my friend's house and she tears recipes out of different magazines, and she it seems stressful watching her because she feels like she has to stick to the recipe so much that she's reading. And what I always want to convey, I'm like, when you're reading the recipe, if there's an ingredient that you can't find at the store, really just try to understand why that ingredient's in there, and then just sub it in with something else. You can switch out herbs, you can switch out berries, you can switch out so many things. It's really just kind of getting the basics. But when I cook at home, I usually honestly just go to the restaurants and steal a bunch of stuff. When we had a grill out not too long ago. It was our son's second birthday, and it turned it, the second birthday is more like an adult's party, and then there's like 3 kids. But I just went to the restaurant, and I fill up giant bus tubs of different foods, and then I kind of repurpose them and mix and match them. Because I find getting all this stuff at home can be overwhelming, but when I do, cook things, different sauces and things at home, it's really thinking, what can I make the day before so that this isn't so stressful? Entertaining is meant to be fun for you, too, not just for your friends. So 1, that's why I've started out with the cocktail, but 2, make sure that you have some things that have already happened the day before. So even with this dish, especially if it's brunch, who wants to get up at like 6 in the morning and start making brunch for your friends that are coming over? I get up at 6 in the morning anyways, but I don't want to start cooking brunch for my friends that are coming over. You want to have the cream cheese ready to go. You can have the baguette all sliced and ready to toast off because you're going to toast it anyway, so it's okay if it gets a little bit dried out. You can have this little vinaigrette that I'm going to make ready to go. You can have some things all ready so that in the morning it's kind of just mix and match. Okay, we're going to cook that on the skin side for just a second. This I am not going to flip without a spatula. I probably could have cut this and made life easier, but whew, there we go. We just want to get that kind of just cooked through. All right, we're going to go ahead and put some lemon juice. We've got olive oil, lemon juice. What do you guys think this brown liquid is? Yeah! I should just call this the fish sauce demo. I didn't think about it. I think it's other people that point out to me that I use so much fish sauce. I went to a friend's restaurant the other night, and it's called Pacific Standard Time. If you're from Chicago, you have to go. It's really delicious. But my favorite dish was this tuna dish that came with a little bit of a fresh garbanzo bean puree and then this awesome fish sauce vinaigrette. And I was like, why am I so drawn to this dish? Aha, I can tell. So while that's cooking real quick, I'm going to shave this little salad guy. Oh, thanks. I lost my knife. Here we go. I lose everything every 5 seconds of the day, so if you guys see something on stage that I seem to have misplaced, just point it out. Be helpful. All right, we're going to cut some fennel, one of my favorite ingredients. I used to work for Chef Sean McLean. He was a chef in Chicago for a long time. He now is in Vegas. And something I learned working for him, I feel like every chef I work for, I pick up different sort of techniques or different favorite ingredients. And he just loved fennel, and we used to use it in all of our stocks instead of celery. And so that I do the same thing now. It just has such great flavor. I don't even love, it has that anise flavor, a little bit like, and I really do not like licorice, but I love like the fresh anise flavor. I'm not a Twizzlers kind of guy. I guess that really doesn't taste anything like fennel, but that's just where my mind went. Black licorice, no thank you. What's inside of those Mike Ikes? I don't even know. Okay. I've always wondered that. Okay, so we're just gonna shave the fennel. And you just wanna, a lot of my cooks, and I feel like I'm trying to find all of them and where is this coming from that they learn and do it this way, they cut the core out. But then when you're trying to shave on the mandolin, the whole thing falls apart and it becomes like danger, danger. So I just leave it in there and then I just shave around it. One, it's skipping a step and it's easier. Ooh, I'm watching it looks dangerous on that screen from back here. You're like, stop looking up there. Watch what your hands are doing. And then you just kind of shave around the core. And it doesn't fall apart and it's so much better. Do you guys like fresh fennel? Do you eat fresh fennel raw? Cool. I'm glad it's getting some love out there. I feel like we use a lot of, we have a salad that has fresh shaved fennel and fresh shaved kohlrabi. Do you guys have you had kohlrabi before? I feel like they're both kind of can look like alien vegetables just sitting on the shelf at the store. And so some people are a little scared of them. But I'm just looking for a tray. I'm going to use this. But they're both super delicious and just can add this awesome tasty crunch. Okay, so we're just gonna flip this out. Ooh, yeah, that looks good. I'm feeling good about this so far, guys. How are you feeling? All right. All right, so you got some fresh arugula. We're gonna put some shaved fennel. I kind of forgot about them. Let's say hi again. Woo! I forgot about our bit. Jeez. We're gonna grab some fresh sorrel. This has become one of my favorite herbs. You guys you gotta like sorrel. If you don't, it tastes, do you wanna come and taste a bit? Here, take a leaf. Everybody wants to eat a leaf of sorrel in the morning. It's good for you. Yeah, what's your name?
Jody.
Hi, Jody, what do you think? It's very acidic.
Really fresh. And
yeah, right. It's it tastes like if you close your eyes, it's like green.
yeah, it's like a burst of lemony, citrusy
Yeah,
grassiness.
yeah, it totally is. That was perfect. Good descriptors. I think of it's like grassiness, lemoniness, and it tastes almost like that acidity of a green apple, but in a really good way. It's just like, it's an herb that you can get acidity from. And I think that something that's often missing in dishes is that brightness. So people keep you're like eating something and you're like, why doesn't this taste seasoned enough? And you keep adding salt, or you try, or you just eat something bland and you're like, well, that wasn't that exciting. And you're trying to figure out kind of what went wrong. And a lot of times it's just that it's missing acid. So what's great is, there's all different vinegars. If you look into our, we're gonna spread this on here. If you look into our dry storage at the restaurants, we have every kind of vinegar you can think of because we use all different ones. We've got our lemons, you got all your citrus, but sometimes you want to add brightness without using any of those things, and I think sorrel is really the best way to do it. It's really awesome. Okay, we're gonna smear. You can go less cream cheese if you want to, but I mean, why? Why would you? So we got our cream cheese. We're gonna take this, we're gonna flake a little bit of our fresh done fish over the top. Boom, boom, boom. Yum, yum. What's nice about this, too, for entertaining is that you can make these. They, of course, taste great right off the griddle. They're nice and fresh. Everything tastes better, like always, right when it's made. But they also taste really great if they have to sit around for, like a half an hour, and you kind of can just put the platter out, and your friends can kind of sip on your yummy cocktails you made them, and just eat it when they want. Ooh, yum. We'll put some fresh, we'll pretend it's salmon, but artichoke over the top. This came out really nice, though. It's super nice. A lot of fat going on in this fish, which is why it's so delicious. There we go. Then we're going to take this little salad mixture, add some of our vinaigrette. Boop, boop, boop. So we got nice brightness, and we got our saltiness from the fish sauce. You could totally, if you want, I guess there's no reason to skip fish sauce in this dish, is there? Because there's fish. But in other recipes where I use fish sauce, if it's not a fish dish and you want to, if you have a fish allergy, a friend coming over with a fish allergy, or if you just want to skip it, you could always sub in soy sauce. It's just not going to get quite that same funkiness, but it does add the nice saltiness. So what we're going to add here that's going to make it nice and fun is some blackberries. I love cooking with fruit. I think, again, anybody that's been to my restaurants, you'll see fruit kind of all over the menus. I actually was a private chef for one summer. It's just not for me. That was just not for me. Just because when you're private chefing for a family, of course, you're making food that they want to and that they enjoy. It's not like a time for chefs to kind of go nuts and put crazy things together necessarily. And the first thing they said to me, they're like, we don't like a lot of salt, and we don't like fruit in our food. It's like, oh, no. This is going to be an interesting summer. So the reason I put it in there is not like putting different flavor combinations. It's not for the sake of being like, ooh, wow, like let's do something funky and different or whatever, but it's like, not that this is that funky and different, but it's just adding that layer of flavor. It's really thinking about, in this dish, we've got our crunchy, rich bread. We've got our rich cream cheese. We need to cut through that with our fish sauce vinaigrette and the brightness from the blackberries. So really just thinking of what's missing in a dish and kind of filling it in. And a lot of times, fruit does the trick. There we go. Yum. Yum, yum. Okay. Marathon. What's next? We're gonna make chicken. So now we're gonna move to the next couple things I'm gonna make. You can do for like an afternoon entertaining or like a picnic type thing. I think in the summer, just having friends over and putting out some little snacks, the whole gather and graze and drink wine thing, is something that is just really fun. So first, I have this in different stages just because I wanted to show you, although I'm sure you could have interpreted what's going on. But this is all stuff that would go in our brine, and then we've got some chicken that's already been brining. So we've got some sugar and salt, some peppercorns, a little bit of coriander, and these you'd want to toast before you put them into your liquid so that they can start to release all their flavors. Some garlic you just want to smash up. I have some oranges cut up and put in here, some onions, and then some red pepper flakes. Something that I like to use in brines when I have it around, again, for that whole thing of using up leftovers in the fridge. So my dad comes to visit, and we buy like random things for him, and then they're left in our fridge. I'm like, I don't eat orange marmalade. I just don't. It's just not my favorite thing. So there'll be random things of jams or things I've bought in the past, and you can use that in brines. It's really great. Orange marmalade is perfect in a brine. I had some raspberry jam, I think, that was sitting around in my fridge for a while from some sort of visit. And I ended up putting that in I was like slow cooking some pork shoulder and like put that in the slow cooker with it. So jams are a great thing in your fridge to kind of throw in all sorts of things. But I just wanted to show you guys those ingredients. So basically, I'm parched, and this is, I guess it kind of helps. You just bring all of that to a boil. Make sure that the liquid is cold before you put your chicken in. We actually had an incident at the restaurant where we were doing a whole pig. I'm sure that you guys often have a whole pig brining in your backyard. I think the water was like just a little bit not cold when we put the pig in. And so the next morning, that was not smelling good. when you open up the cooler and there's a pig that's been sitting in like tepid sort of water all night. So make sure whenever you're brining meats that you make the brine nice and cold. This is a wet brine. I'm totally down with a dry brine also. There isn't one in the book because I think it's something that I just started to like after this past Thanksgiving. I like got home the night before Thanksgiving and just took I dumped some salt and sugar in a bowl with some spices and rubbed it all over my turkey and just shoved it in the fridge. And that turkey was dang delicious. And it was so simple. So you could totally do a dry brine in this. You could also just go to the store. There's lots of stores that sell whole roasted chickens. If you decide, I want to make chicken salad and my friends are coming over, but I don't have time to roast chicken, like this works fine too. Jasmine, do you have that one that's already done already? Cool. And Jasmine, who happens to work here at Aspen Food and Wine for the past few years, happens to work at Girl on the Go. And last week she's like, I'll see you in Aspen. And I was like, what? How awesome is that? How cool. She works at Girl on the Go. How long have you been working there? 2.5 months. And she's awesome. So her station is the one that has the raw salmon dish on it, and then we have this new chickpea set with carrot hummus, and like the station's just kind of like, she's like, I just need a moment to refocus and get this station situated, and now she's totally crushing it, so it's awesome. Yes. So you can make your brine the day before, just kind of let your chicken hang out in there overnight. I'm not gonna kind of glove up to take it out. You'd wanna take it out. I like to let my wet brine things kind of dry for a little while before you throw them in the oven so you can get a nice toasty skin. But brining, like whether you do wet brine or a dry brine, is really what's going to keep your chicken nice and moist. I mean, I think people have been talking about it for so long now that we all probably, do you guys all brine? Yeah, it's just something that we do now, whereas like, I don't know, I think it was like years ago, Ming Tsai was actually at a friend's restaurant in Arizona. I watched his cooking demo. It was when I had never done a cooking demo at a food and wine event before, and I had to go after Ming Tsai. Have you guys ever seen Ming Tsai's cooking demos? I mean, he's ridiculous, he's awesome. And he's just funny, and who knows what he's cooking, it doesn't matter. But that's what he said to me afterwards. He's like, Stephanie, nobody cares what I cook. I'm just funny. And I was like, oh, okay, yeah, I like it. So then after, my demo that day was probably, I think I was very shy, so I was like, hi, I'm Stephanie, and this is what we're gonna make. But since then, I was like, I think about that all the time, and like, I do care what I'm cooking up here, but it's more about just getting to talk about food and all different things that kind of applies to what you're cooking, and I don't know, we'll just jibber jabber. So we're gonna Jasmine's gonna help pick that chicken. I'm gonna cut up a little bit of sweet onion. This is great with a simple sweet onion like Vidalia or Walla Walla onions. Have you guys been to Walla Walla, Washington? Yeah. Yes. Walla Walla, I'm sure there's a lot of wine lovers here that would have gone to Walla Walla. That was probably a silly question. We go to Walla Walla and make wine for Girl and the Goat with Rich Funk and Anita Funk from Savaya Cellars. If you haven't been to that winery, it's really awesome. But Walla Walla is great. It's like a very kind of tinier version of a Napa. So you can go and there's not like traffic trying to get into wineries and things like that. It's just a small little wine town that's pretty fun. So I'm gonna kind of cook these a little bit, and we're gonna make a goddess dressing and just kind of put together a green goddess chicken salad. So simple, but I just kind of want to show it because I'm thinking of summertime and what I'd really want to just be eating with my friends and kind of snacking on and gathering grazing. Let's see if this works out. Okay, we're gonna go ahead and put a couple of egg yolks. Boop, boop, boop. And we've got lemon and lime juice. I feel as though this blender is awesome and badass and big, but I'm hoping that this is such a small batch of vinaigrette, we'll see sort of what happens. We're doing good so far, though. Two dishes have already worked out, so the rest of it could totally fail and we'd still be a success, right? I think so. Okay, some Dijon. Dijon lemon lime. What is this? Is this my oil? Yes. Oh, I almost tasted it, and then I thought, that's probably not going to taste so good. Oh, I'm going to grind this up first and then drizzle the oil. I think my drink is starting to get to me. Okay. Yeah, it's very quiet. How nice is that? You could blend and nobody would even know. See.
How are you with your recipes in your restaurants? Do you guard them like, or are you more generous? I used to work in a restaurant where the chef, everybody out in the kitchen while they was making some signature stuff.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I asked for a recipe for a particular salad starter appetizer. She said, yeah, for $200, I'd be happy to sell it to you.
Oh my gosh.
I'm wondering, how are you about that in your restaurants with your recipes and stuff?
I am totally fine with it. I mean, here, you guys can have these ones for free. I'm just kidding.
Well, and there's cookbooks and stuff. I mean, like, she was Hungarian. It was
Right.
a Hungarian restaurant, and she would not, you had
Those are like top secret recipes coming down from generations probably, and probably not necessarily even written down. We share restaurant recipes all the time. I mean, some of our things with goat, it's like, well, you can have the recipe if you want to go buy a goat. More power to you. And we've actually helped people get goat from our goat farmer. I don't think this is going to happen. It's supposed to be like, it should be like emulsified. We'll just keep going and pretend. So that looks like a mayonnaise right now, right? Let's cheer. It's just a little bit large of it's such a small batch, sometimes we just need to do it in a little bit. I probably should have just whisked it. But we're gonna go ahead and add in some herbs. Yeah, we share recipes all the time. I remember growing up, we went to this place in Connecticut. I grew up in Stamford, Connecticut, and there was this place called Gates, and they had this black bean soup, and we just loved it so much, and my mom asked for the recipe. And the guy was like, I'm happy to share it with you, but it's like, he gave it to her, it was like, ended in like 22 quarts of soup. So my mom like she's like, I mean, I don't even think I have a pot that can fit a quarter of this. But I remember she took the time to kind of like trim the recipe down, and then we would have this black bean soup all the time, and I think it's still written in like my mom's little recipe journal as like, Gates black bean soup. We're happy to give recipes. I mean, this book has, not saying you have to go buy the book, I'll give you recipes too, but I mean, not all 125 of them, but we're happy to share them all the time. I mean, it's kind of course you still want people to come into your restaurant, but I think it's different. You want to be able to make some of these recipes at home. You're probably not going to use, some of the dishes that we have like 10 different sub-recipes. So I could give you a recipe for a sauce, and you could just use it on something totally different. Like that vinaigrette, you're like, hey, how do I make that vinaigrette? Here's a simple recipe. You're just going to make a salad for lunch with it. Maybe you're not going to make every step of the recipe. So we share recipes all the time. So anything you want to know from Girl and the Goat, we're down. How do we do the recipes for it?
You already go prepared, like, thinking, like, okay, I know the base of the sauce, or
Right.
before, kind of
We don't know the ingredient. We know maybe the ingredient. We know a list of like, I mean, I don't think it's a huge secret. We know a list of like 5 or 6 possibles. So we have to be prepared for any of that. We don't know until like the second. We definitely like, it's usually things that we have just in our minds. And the thing that always happens when you're cooking on television in competition, it just never comes out the same. Like, it's either, there's like something different. It's just like something I make in my kitchen is not going to come out the same in your kitchen, not because of any sort of level of cookingness. I'm actually a terrible home cook, so you guys probably cook at home better than me. Because something about the pan could be a slightly different size, or you know, you're using a different whisk, or on television you're just super stressed out. But yeah, we go in with sort of different sauces and things in our minds. I mean, when I did Iron Chef Gauntlet, when was that? 2 years? I blocked that a little out of memory. It was super fun, but we didn't know any of that stuff ahead. So it was kind of like being back on Top Chef, where they did, you know, Alton would suddenly put up the thing, and I'm like, are you freaking kidding me? That was hard. I think doing 3 dishes by yourself in an hour, I was like having heart palpitations watching the other chefs that had to do it before me. And when I think I went against Sarah in like a chicken battle, made chicken liver ice cream. That I definitely did not have some sort of recipe memorized. I was like, I think I'll put some chicken livers in ice cream. I was like, might as well go for it. I'd rather go down like fighting hard with something kind of wacky than like making something simple.
What are you most proud of? Which one? Iron Chef or Top Chef?
Oh, what am I most proud of? Food and Wine Best New Chef. Which is true. Food and Wine Best New Chef, what did they, I think it was 2010. They just said my year last night. And it was fun because Rick Bayless won in 1988. And the chef next to me goes, I was 4. I was like, I was 12. But Rick Bayless is a chef that I look up to and admire very much because he does such cool things. And we have like the same farmers we use, and I feel like he's like my mentor from afar because we are friends, but like I don't know. But yeah, when I found out about Food and Wine Best New Chef, when I had my first restaurant, Scylla, I was 27 years old. And Food and Wine Best New Chef was just, every time that came out, like, I wanted to be those chefs. It was like, look at all the people that have come out of that. It's like amazing how they've found all these, like, people that have turned into such great careers in so many cool restaurants and stuff. I was so excited and thought maybe, like, when I had my first restaurant, Scylla, that I would get it, and I didn't. I remember being like, I was like crushed. I was like, oh, I'm never gonna get anything. And then at Girl and the Goat, when they called, I was in the office, and they're like, don't tell anybody that we're on the phone right now. You're gonna be one of Food and Wine Best New Chefs this year. And I was like, oh, thanks. And then I got a text from my friend at Food and Wine later. She's like, you didn't sound very excited. I'm like, because you said I couldn't say anything. I was in the office with all of my staff. But on the inside, I remember I like got goosebumps. Oh, I got goosebumps talking about it. It was like I just thought it was something that I always just like have admired and like, not just because we're at Food and Wine right now, but just because I love the brand and the magazine and just the best new chefs. So that was my proudest for many reasons. I mean, Top Chef, it kind of came out of nowhere. I was, let me cook for one quick second, then I'll, well, we're doing our pretend cooking, so we've got our really thickened like mayonnaise situation happening in here. So we put in some herbs from our fresh herb garden. I just put a little tarragon and some scallions in here. What's great about this recipe, it's just a base for a green goddess. I remember in my mind, I'm much more of a ranch person, I'm not gonna lie. Before my husband and I had our baby, our refrigerator just had beer and ranch in it all the time. And like he eats a lot of A1 sauce. It makes him sweat. He's not like, he can't have spicy things. And he's in here somewhere. He's like, shut up. But what's great about so I would buy like green goddess dressing from the store and I'm like, I don't think I get this. Like, what is this? This does not taste delicious. And I think when you buy store-bought green goddess, it's just a dressing that doesn't work that well in a bottle because it's all about the freshness of the herbs. And it's supposed to be bright and acidic and herbaceous. And when you try to put that into a jar or a bottle and like put it on the shelf for like next to the Twinkies forever, it's just not gonna taste as good. So I mean, we sell things in jars, but we have to make sure they're things that are not citrus-based like that, not sort of fresh herb-based. But this recipe, you can add in any of your favorite herbs. It's actually coming together pretty nice. Maybe it worked. How does it look? You can put in any of your favorite herbs. It's definitely a little bit on the loose side. We like to put when ramps are in season. I know there's parts of the country that don't get ramps, and I was doing a demo in like Seattle, and they were like, what is a ramp? Like, what are you even talking about? But we had a very short growing season this year, but we did put ramps in our goddess dressing for a little while. You can put basil, you can put your sorrel, because we just tasted and we love it now, and so we want to put it in everything. So it's kind of a place that you can just use a bunch of your favorite herbs. I'm gonna go ahead and put some onions in here. Now pretend that this chicken and these onions are not hot anymore, but that's okay. We're using our imaginations a little bit today, which is a good thing. Keeps our minds going. All right, a little bit of sweet onions. And then we're gonna add in our goddess. Maybe I'll let this chill a little bit while we make our next recipe so that we don't have a cooking goddess dressing sitting on our hot chicken. We'll come back to that. Meanwhile, on the other side of the kitchen, we're gonna make a couple more snacks with something else that's just coming into season. How many people like cherries? Yes. So fresh cherries, I love them. Cooked cherries in pie, I do not love. I do like maraschino cherries, I still do, even, I just grew up eating those and wanting to dig them out of my drinks. But there's something about when you cook cherries, you end up with a totally different flavor profile. Fresh cherries, when you get good ones, are bright and acidic and they're very well balanced. They're a little bit sweet, but they're nice and bright also. But when you cook them, they kind of get all mushy and they lose that sort of brightness. But also when you pit them ahead of time, they kind of turn brown. So I wanted to find a way that I could have cherries like on the line at the restaurant that we could be a little bit ahead on. And they wouldn't turn brown, they wouldn't be mushy from a pickling or too acidic, and they wouldn't be mushy from cooking them. So we kind of made this simple vinaigrette for them. So I've got some cherries that are already kind of cut up for me. I have a cherry pitter up here. I just wanted to show you guys, because this is like the one gadget that I think sometimes people go a little bit crazy on the gadgets. Someone handed me I used to like those apple cores when I was little, the thing that you go like this and you just have sliced apples when I was younger and I just wanted an apple snack, but it's probably really not that necessary. There's lots of really unnecessary gadgets when you go to the store and there's that like wall of gadgets. But a cherry pitter, if you have one, it's pretty sweet. I would say if you're gonna eat cherries for the season, it's definitely worthwhile. So it kind of pops it right out. And you could also use it, I'm a big olive person, and there's some olives that this works for well too. So we just pop that out. Yes. So I would say if you're gonna buy a gadget, maybe a little stocking stuffer or something, cherry pitters are worth it. Other things, maybe not. I'm trying to think of some, I saw some, I feel like it was something that did something to bananas the other day, and I was like, I think that you could just peel your own banana. I don't know what you're gonna do with that. So we've got our cherries. I'm gonna add in, it's happening again, fish sauce. Which, I really did use fish sauce in everything today, just about. Well, hopefully, most of you like it. This is a little bit of champagne vinegar. I love fish sauce and malt vinegar a lot, but with this marinade recipe, I did it with a little bit of champagne vinegar because I wanted some extra acidity. So we're gonna do that. I've got some pickled Fresnos. So earlier when I was making that cocktail to pickled Fresno liquid, these are Fresnos that have already been pickled, and this is the liquid that you'd want to save. The Fresno liquid by itself, you can actually, there's a recipe in the book, you can make almost like a spicy margarita out of it that's really tasty. So yeah, again, make sure you save that liquid. So we're gonna put some Fresnos in there. We're gonna let this kind of hang out and marinate, and we'll put some fresh herbs in it. But I wanna make another little schmeary guy for you guys. So we've got some feta that we're just gonna whip up. I love the taste of feta, but it's just really crumbly. So I like to kind of whip it up and make it a little bit creamier. I feel like we're all falling asleep. Let's cheer again. 1, 2, 3. Okay. We're just gonna put this on high, let it go. We've just got a couple more things. We're gonna put out a little spread of our fun little dips and stuff. There we go. I bought a picnic basket last summer because I totally had a plan to make this kind of things and go and do a picnic. It's still sitting there unopened. We live right across from a park, but I think we end up just like getting hungry and eating before we walk over to the park. So I love just being able to like put out a fun little spread though of stuff so we can mix together our goddess and our, oh, is our chicken cool? Cool-ish enough. Cool-ish enough. We'll mix that up. We've got our whipped feta we're gonna put out. And you just kind of make this fun little spread, and then you can kind of just put it in the middle of your picnic, or you didn't make it to your picnic snacks. I think it's just, if you're having friends over in the summer, if you're doing a whole grill out, what I like to do is have this kind of stuff sitting out first. You gotta feed people while they're waiting for food. Otherwise, they stand by your grill watching you and being like, is that done yet? So give people snacks and drinks. That's what this demo is really about. Give people things so that they're not too anxious waiting for the grill stuff. Oh yeah, you can just toss that together. Cool, we've got our chicken salad coming together. We've got a bunch of breads and things over here. We're gonna put some whipped feta right on here.
What did you put in your feta?
Oh, I just put a little bit of cream. And the fetas are all very different. I think it's one of those cheeses. So some people always say to me, they're like, I don't like blue cheese. I'm like, because you probably only had that dried out crumbled blue cheese. If you buy pre-crumbled, it's just not that good. Same with feta. There's a lot of fetas that are really dry and kind of just not all that delicious. They're super salty and they don't have anything else going on. I like using sheep's milk feta, and you can often get these little packs where it's not crumbled yet. It's kind of in a little bit of water, and that's what you want to use for this. It's a little bit, it's easier to whip it, a little bit creamier, and it's got a little more flavor-wise going on. So we put this on our little serving platter, and what you want, folks, let me put some herbs in here too. Mint, one of my other favorite herbs. These look like they're kind of wilting in the altitude. But that's okay. Stir them in a little bit. Again, any herbs that you want to use. I love this time of year just putting fresh herbs in just about anything, especially in some, I should have put some mint in our cocktails earlier. That would have been delicious. So we're gonna just put this out for our guests. What you want them to do is kind of make themselves a little snack where they'd put like some whipped feta, smear it on there, and then they'd grab some marinated cherries, and they just make themselves a tasty little snack. But they could also put whipped feta and some chicken salad, or they put chicken salad and cherries. You know, just kind of dip and mix and kind of have fun with it. But I want to show you guys kind of, I was saying when I entertain at home, it's really just that I go to the restaurants and raid the coolers and bring a bunch of stuff home. And my husband really wanted to kind of get me something that I could have easy entertaining. He got this for me for Christmas last year, so really great for goddess dressing or ranch, whichever you have around. This is really the best way to easily home entertain. It's a ranch fountain. Let's see if it works. Here it goes. Yes. And then you just go like this. Cheers. We had this it looks really great with the green goddess. This would have been so much better for our Christmas party. But we just had, it's a Hidden Valley situation. We put the Hidden Valley in, which is way too thick, and so it just kind of, but my 2-year-old was just sticking his finger in it and just like, So your guests can do that, but you can put veggies out with it. I mean, seriously, I feel like sales are gonna go up on these, right? Let's do it. Thank you guys, everybody, so much. I'll be up for a little bit. Thank you.